So, your friends and family have been saying, "You're so creative, you should make a movie, you should make a TV show. Dude, write a book. Your poems are so good." And now you're wondering, could I actually do this? Well, yes, you can. You can make that movie. You can make that TV show. You should write that book, and your poems are good. You deserve to shoot your shot. So here's how to do it. My fan is on, and it is too bright in this room. So, how to get a project produced by a production company. My fan is still on. The fan is off, and we're sitting on the floor at the worst possible angle, but that's okay. So now, step one, what to pitch. First, you gotta figure out what type of project you want to submit. Production companies, depending on the company, takes all sorts of different submissions for consideration. They take TV pilots, feature films, documentaries, animated features, and shows, and podcasts, comic books, novels, short stories, even poems sometimes. So it's really important to narrow down what it is you want to submit. And if you have multiple projects in different genres, great, submit them all if the production company will take it. But for the purposes of this, we're going to say you settled on writing and pitching a pilot episode for a television series. Woo! We're trying it on the floor. All right, step two, what to send in. All right, assuming that you've already had an idea in mind for the perfect TV series, let's say it's a brand new sitcom for network television, then get started by deciding what things you're going to want to pitch to the company. Obviously, you're going to need your script of your pilot episode, but you also need to show the company that you know what direction you want the show to go in, that you have a plan for each character, and that this is a show that can run for decades and make them money. Because art is important, and quality plays a huge factor, but it also has to be something that they can sell for cash money. So, to show that you know what happens in the first few seasons and that these stories can continue, why don't you write out a series Bible? I lost my place. Okay, so why don't you write out a series Bible? And then you could also, take a couple of pictures from other shows that have the same vibe as yours does. You can go to, a location that you have in mind and take pictures of that. Or you could have people make, original artwork for it. That's called a deck. And a series Bible is, the most important thing. You can have a deck. It helps to visualize, but you don't need it. Series Bible is the most important. So the Bible is usually, a compilation of the basic overviews of future episodes. Usually there's, a short log line for each episode, when Max realizes the future report is due tomorrow on the same day as his art history test, he's in for the race of his life. And then usually there's a short overview of what happens in that episode. That's usually a few sentences, maybe a tiny paragraph, and those can be vague. They just have to be cool enough and interesting enough to keep the reader's attention, because 99% of the time, the first person who's going to read this is going to be an intern who's going to either tell the higher-ups in the company to pass, consider, or recommend. And you can also do a short paragraph about what future seasons might look like, where characters will go, what will happen, where things will be taken, and all that sort of thing, which is very important. My thumb got in the way. Step 3. Is it ready? So contact your friends and family and have them read your script and make suggestions to you. If you know any writers, also contact them as well, because they will be super helpful for this. So success in this area of the industry comes from who you know and how they can help you. So once you've made your edits, bring together some friends who like to act and have a reading of the script. Hear it out loud to make sure that it sounds good and that every line makes sense. Reading is also the best time to find typos and grammatical errors. After the reading, ask for feedback, and then take that feedback and make another draft, and then have another reading, and then take the feedback from that reading and make another draft, and then have that reading and take feedback from that draft, and then make another draft and another reading, and just keep doing that over and over and over again until you feel comfortable with what you've written and until you think it's good, because in the end, the best judge of your work is you. If it has what you want and you feel like it's ready, then it's time to find a production company to pitch to. If you have the budget and the time, to make it look good, then maybe you can even film like a little chunk of the pilot, but only if you have the budget to make it look good so it doesn't look bad, because if it looks bad, they're just going to be like, oh, this is horrible. But take as long as you need to do all of this. You're in no rush. Make sure that you're taking the time to make it look perfect. Step 4, pitching. So this semester I've been doing an internship with a production company called Propagate, and I asked my boss, Zach, what's the best way to go about pitching your idea to a production company such as the one that I am working at? And he responded with, use your relationships to get in the door, whether that is you directly reaching out or through an agent that the production company trusts. Rarely will a production company hear a pitch from someone who they do not know. It's best to prepare the big idea of the show, talk about the world, the tone, the characters, a pilot story, potential future episodes, and a season arc. So, before you go out searching for a production company, and before you start to panic that you'll never find one, ask around to your friends, your family, your coworkers, distant relatives, even professors and former teachers. Ask if they know anyone who works at a production company at any level. It's all about who you know, and you never know who you know by 6 degrees of separation. Heck, that's how I got my internship. I asked my grandfather if he knew anyone, and he told me, my great-nephew runs a production company. You should reach out and ask him for a job. I'd never heard of this man before, and in 2 weeks after emailing him, I had a job interview for an internship. So see who you know, whether they're in the mailroom, or an intern, or a CEO, they can help you get in touch with the right people to talk to. There's a big pile of garbage in the corner of my room. Step 5, very important step. What if my work gets stolen? So if you can afford it, copyright your work, or find a way to prove that it was your work, just in case they tell you no and then steal your work. This never happens because of non-disclosure agreements and stuff, but to be safe, I reached out to Dan Lauria of The Wonder Years and asked him the best way to go about protecting your work, and he told me, mail your work to the U.S. Library of Congress and then have them mail it back to you in a Library of Congress envelope with the date on it, and then never ever open it unless you need to prove the date that you wrote the work. Like, you can use an envelope from the Library of Congress in a court of law. So that's a very efficient and cost-effective way to protect your work and prove authorship just in case. So try that out. Step 6. What do I say? So your pitch is prepared, your script is ready, your work is protected, you found out that your sister's ex's older brother's college roommate works at a production company, and you've got an email chain started. It's time to send your work in. You have an agent. Great. The agent can send the work in and do the talking for you, but if you don't have a literary agent, then that's okay too. Don't panic, because you can pitch your own work. So you're going to send it in, probably via email due to COVID, and tell them why this show is the best show they could ever produce. Be confident, boast a little, but also make it very, very, very clear that this is a draft and that you are willing to be flexible and to make changes to better suit the network, because unfortunately, you're going to have to make changes regardless, even if it's the best script ever. So then remember that you're also selling yourself. You have to prove to them why they want to form a relationship with you as a writer for future projects. So wait for their response, and if it's a go, then congratulations, you're a writer. But if they say no, don't give up, don't stop, keep sending your work into production companies, send it everywhere you can, make a new draft, submit it again to the same company, just again and again until someone picks it up. Keep making drafts, don't be afraid to submit multiple things, because even if they shoot down one offer, you can send in another one, because now you've built a relationship with this company, and they're going to love to hear your other ideas. So have fun writing. We're excited. We're excited.